What up, everybody? Welcome back to Tabletop Never Stop. Today we are going to take a look at the Baratheon Hero boxes 1 and 2. When I say take a look at the boxes, I mean literally at the boxes. We don't have really any data besides who's on the outside of these boxes. And so we're going to do some speculation. As I said, there are two Baratheon boxes, Baratheon Heroes 1 and Baratheon Heroes 2. They are definitely divided between Stannis and Renly's two different camps, and we will of course be starting with the Stannis box. That's not only because it's Baratheon Heroes 1, but also because Stannis is the one true king, and that's not a knock on anyone else who is supporting a different king. It's okay to play the villains in a miniatures game, but you're either supporting the one true king or you're a traitor to the crown. So that's how that stands. Feel free to let me know in the comments who you think the characters are if you disagree with me. Or if you do agree with me, let me know that too. Alright, let's get started. So, getting into this first Baratheon Heroes box, on the left I'd say we have Edrick Storm, the son of King Robert, Bobby B, and one of the Queen Salisa's cousins. So that's a royal bastard card. I mean, of course, we don't really know what this character would do, but I could see him being somewhat like Rickon, where he provides a benefit, but it gives extra victory points if he's captured. And next we have Davos Seaworth, which will be interesting to see. I think he's a fan favorite. I'm certainly quite a fan of him. Interesting to see if we get a commander version of him. I certainly feel like Davos doesn't think of himself as like a combat leader, but of course he does lead men in the Battle of the Blackwater, and obviously becomes very integral to Stannis's kingdom as the books progress. Next we have Melisandre, certainly our most blatantly magical character that we've had access to so far, and we haven't really seen like a R'hllor unit yet, but obviously there's going to be like a pretty strong faction like thematically and like mechanically in the game with R'hllor. We don't know what it does yet, but obviously that'll be a thing, and I'm sure Melisandre will be very critical to that, so I look forward to finding out more about her. Stannis is on the box. We may get another model of him. That would be cool, but maybe not that likely. And then next we have this giant guy, this giant redhead with a hammer. I don't have a clue who this person is. I kind of suspect that he's either a generic character or they're going to just grab a name out of the appendix, which is kind of what they did with Shara Errol in the Baratheon starter set. And then also he even has a warhammer, which again, like in the books, no one really does. So it makes me feel like he's generic. Next, we have the guy, this well-dressed gentleman, standing next to our hammer guy. If we hadn't already seen Tycho Nestoris in Neutrals 2, I would think this is Tycho Nestoris, but again, we've already seen him and he looks different. So I actually think this might be Salladhor Saan, the pirate captain. He's portrayed in the show as a black actor, but in the books, Slice is one of the free cities, and it was once a Valyrian city, so you would expect Lysini to actually be fairly fair, have silver hair. Actually, I mean, his hair doesn't look that silver, but who knows what's going on, and I could be wrong about this. But that's just my theory that that's Salladhor Saan. I would argue he's like dressed kind of flamboyantly, although I think a Lysini pirate might actually even look like more outlandish than that. So who knows? And then next, of course, we have Shireen. Be interesting to see a faction besides the Starks have a child character. See how that goes. And of course, we also have Selyse Florent, Stannis' queen, which actually might be another R'hllor character because she's a very devout character and actually has quite a bit of power because a lot of the R'hllor followers consider themselves queensmen rather than kingsmen, although not that they aren't loyal, because of course Selyse is loyal to Stannis, but a lot of the R'hllor followers actually kind of follow her more than him. And as far as people that you would maybe expect in a Stannis hero box that aren't there, his maesters are missing, which aren't that huge. Maester Cresson basically serves as Stannis's like surrogate father, but he's not in the books for more than a prologue. And then of course there's Maester Pylos, who takes his place. Again, who's not like super critical, but he does teach Davos to read, among other things. So those guys seem kind of missing. And then more importantly, like, come on, we need a patch face character at some point. In fact, kind of surprised we made it this far into the series without getting a Fool character. But, you know, I'm sure that'll happen eventually. All right, so we're going to jump over to the Renly box. And we're going to kind of come at this from the other direction for this one. So first thing we have Brienne of Tarth. Although we've already seen her as neutral, the first time we actually encounter Brienne in the novel, she is, of course, just becoming a member of Renly's Rainbow Guard. And so, obviously, the idea that there wouldn't be a Baratheon version of Brienne is, of course, silly. Obviously, you know, I guess I didn't say this, but obviously, expect all these characters in this box to have loyalty to Stannis, and all characters in this box to have loyalty to Renly. And of course, Brienne is currently decking Mace Tyrell, the Knight of Flowers, who doesn't really have flowers on his armor. I mean, you know, green certainly matches Tyrell, but those look like more like vines to me than like roses. But, you know, I mean, whatever. You do you, Loras. And then moving into the background here, we have a older gentleman who is probably Mace Tyrell. I think that maybe is a little more white in his hair than I would actually expect, but that seems like the most obvious person for that to be, especially when you consider he's sitting with the Queen of Thorns and, of course, Marjorie herself. And then, of course, we have Renly. And then finally we have what I would say is probably another generic character. He has a stag helm, which would, of course, kind of make you think he's a Baratheon, but there aren't really any more named Baratheons around. And again, if I was going to think of like who's missing from a Renly Heroes box, Randall Tarley seems pretty obvious. He's basically the best general that the in the Reach, arguably one of the better ones in the whole all of Westeros. And then I guess while we're talking about fools, you know, we also have Queen of Thorns fool Butterbumps could potentially be in a box someday. Of course, you know, I would expect, you know, from order of importance of jesters, it goes, in my mind, it goes Patchface, Moonboy, and then Butterbumps. So I would expect Moonboy and Patchface first. So those are my predictions. Definitely let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, and who you think any of the characters on the box actually are. I'd love to hear that. And thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.